Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to another edition of the Living World of Darkness Rage across New York. The scene is set, um, well after the aftermath of several tumultuous events have occurred, and one Silverfang Ragabash young career as a Garu. So we just go ahead and open up the scene somewhat late at night. The moon is shining half the Philodox's moon, which might just, remind the young Ragabash of a certain injustice that was currently perpetrated and is continuing to be perpetrated. But for now, we open the scene on a lakeside with one of our dear heroines, sitting, probably, don't really know, probably a little bit of in a stupor, and another one who has also seen quite a tumultuous time and is currently being the other's shadow, if you could call her a shadow, being up a tree and whatnot. But there we begin the scene.
Cinna is indeed sitting the edge of a lake. You don't call it that, but shore. Sitting at lake shore, throwing, mindlessly throwing some small rocks and pieces of wood. He's throwing them into the water, watching them, little pieces of wood float, the rocks sink. She enjoys the feeling of those little tiny bits of stone sinking to the bottom of the lake. She has a half-empty bottle of whiskey, single malt, standing next to her, and occasionally she is drinking from it and just throws one rock after another. That is most of her pastime. Her mind, however, yeah. She tries not to keep her mind occupied. She tries to focus on those rocks that go, sink, go, sink, go, sink, sink. God damn it! There's another piece of wood. She swings back the bottle again.
Thalia, for her part, is perched on said relatively low-lying tree branch, trying to look casual, leaning on it, but you can still see, like, in all her muscles, she's still quite tense. She's watching over the Cinna, and she looks like she would like to trying to think of words to broach things with Cinna, but also, but is fighting with herself because she knows she should try and talk to Cinna about some things, but she also wants to give Cinna her space, but also doesn't want to leave her alone, so she just sat there kind of a very awkward watcher. Cinna knows she's there. She's been following her around, but yeah, she wants to be there for Cinna, but doesn't really know, isn't good with emotional words.
Hmm. Hmm. Talia will probably notice a crack in the branch above her.
She'll look up.
A man with rose-tinted glasses looks down at you.
She'll cock her head like, Lucas?
He goes ahead and nods.
It's not often you're higher up a tree than I am. What are you doing here?
Sneaky. Being sneaky.
If you were so sneaky, why did we hear you this time?
Because I now have a bit of an introduction. You two seem a little bit in your own thoughts at the moment.
I suppose that would be safer than surprising us at the moment, yes.
He looks at the little ragabash that gets a little bit irritated every time she goes ahead and throws a stone. Heh. You guys want to disappear for a while? Get gone? Like, not be here? Like, away?
Thalia will look at Cinna at this point.
Cinna doesn't seem to be aware of the conversation going on, or is simply ignoring it. Or maybe too drunk to notice. She's just
What do
sitting there, back towards the both of you. Rocks keep flying.
when
A little bit further each time.
when she doesn't answer, Thalia will turn back to Lucas. So, what are you proposing? Because I think maybe getting her to doing something might be good.
Oh, I don't plan on doing anything. Just a whole lot of nothing, way, way far away from the city. Maybe, actually, I got a few camping sites in the Connecticut Park on Long Island. Come with us, or at least should say, come with me.
Um, well, we're doing a whole lot of nothing here, and um, how would doing nothing there be different?
Hmm, because nothing that you're doing here doesn't lead into something that you could be doing. And the nothing that you do in the park leads into something that will be edifying.
Oh, valid. She is just holding her impatience in. She'd say she could tell she desperately wants to be doing something, but doesn't have anything she can think of to do right now. So that is how her that is how she's maintaining this relative inactivity right now. But so doing camping, that's still doing something, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Cinna, Cinna,
Thalia.
look, Lucas is suggesting we get out of here. Um, maybe go somewhere else, be somewhere different, shake things up a bit. I don't know, put a different perspective on things, have a different drinking spot, get some more drink. What do you say?
She'll shrug as another rug rock, kind of disappears into the water. Surprising there are so many little rigs actually. It's kind of weird. And she'll look at the bottle. It's almost empty anyway. Sure. She'll stand up, turn around. And I need to make a check for a moment. Okay. She turns around, looks at Lucas, and for a moment seems to be fucking startled. Then she realizes it's Lucas and not someone else, and it's just the glasses that kind of throw her off, and she'll restore herself. Why the fuck do you wear sunglasses at night?
Just because I'm a jackass. Don't worry, I only wear them when I'm not driving. Come on. Cinna, you
Sure.
game? Game for falling?
She kind of nods her head in Thalia's direction. I know that one has been staring at my back the entire day. Sure.
Oh, wonderful. Lucas is going to go ahead and take a quick hop, skip out of the tree, landing with a lot of rustling of the leaves above him. On 2 feet. And then he goes ahead and gestures, follow me.
Thalia will plop down and sort of go stand next to Cinna and just kind of just walk alongside her.
Cinna grabs the bottle from the floor, from the ground, looks at it. Or maybe 20% left in the bottle, so 5 small sips, 3 big gulps. Takes another swing. And we'll follow Lucas.
Following Lucas to the mystery machine. That's my speed up music from the 80s and 70s. So, onto the mystery machine. Thalia, you'll notice those wonderful bubble heads that you went ahead and gave Lucas as a gift so long ago. That actually you've seen these before when we went on the ditch digging adventure. So you'll see that. And Cinna, this is probably the first time getting into the mystery machine. Since then, much of the same that you've always seen it before, with the addition
Yeah,
of
I
two
think the
wonderful
last
robots.
time. I think the last time she was in this vehicle was when you may have told her about a certain trio of Fianas.
Yep.
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 She looked at the car, and the gaze in her eyes kind of darkens visibly. Oh, goody. Grabs the bottle, opens it, downs it, and then throws it away against a tree or a sign or whatever. And another car probably, as it's parked somewhere, so there's probably another car nearby. And she just throws the bottle towards the car. Watches as it just explodes in all kind of tiny pieces of glass. Let's get going.
Lucas is going to go ahead and gain a range point for that one, but stifle himself. On you go. The mystery machine goes ahead and exits the Sept garage, goes on through Manhattan city streets that aren't so crowded this time of night, crossing the that's the Brooklyn Bridge. Crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, that iconic figure, and all throughout. Does anybody want to control the radio?
Nope. I will say to Cinna though that you never know, Cinna, we might even find something for you to take some of that frustration out on. Burn some of that energy.
I prefer to keep that frustration or a certain group of people.
It sounds like you got a bit of a chip on your shoulder.
Maybe. Doesn't matter.
Well, just consider me ignorant, but I don't know entirely much of the story that y'all went on.
It's not my story to tell, and I don't even really know all of it, but it wasn't the most straightforward journey.
So you go ahead.
But we're back,
Hmm.
and
You know how in Wolf's Home we learned how the two halves of what we are kind of at odds with each other? How
If that's what you,
humanity stinks and how fucked up this world is?
if that is a lesson that you take from that adventure.
Let's just say that I found that same lesson in a different way.
Go on. Doesn't matter what you are. Doesn't matter which side you're on. Prejudice, hate. It's everywhere, man. Sometimes the only thing that you can really do about it is, well, like, talk about it.
I can't yet.
that sept, that place was not like this one.
No.
How was it different?
They were assholes.
Examples.
Well, as I say, I don't know. I get that there was a lot that I didn't understand, but the examples I can give from how we were treated when we were all actually at the sept, I guess we found out they weren't all bad, but we when we arrived, we were greeted by Emetis, who was clearly one of their gatekeepers or something on the bone of their sept. He offered to take us in and take us to who we needed to meet inside. He was being quite friendly to us, and we went in and was talking to us. When we then met other people in the sept, they then attacked him because he was talking to us and felt that he had risen above what they saw was his station and they needed to put him back in it. And when we questioned this, because we were shocked by their actions, they got incredibly offended and incredibly defensive and accused us of breaking the litany and disrespecting them. This was only the first example, but I feel that sets this home for the rest of the visit.
Probably not the best first impression that you could have taken away from it. Did you get any of their names?
If we did, I don't remember. I'll be honest, at that point they were there was much of a muchness. More things were explained and somewhat resolved later. We had more conflict with others. That was, I say, just the first incident. And now I suppose it even seems pales in comparison to the others, but they were far more conservative than we are here. They were far harsher, and they were unforgiving.
He goes ahead and like sagely nods. Cinna, did that irk you? Is that the one thing?
Right.
Cinna has been been staring out of the window. He's like, huh? What?
What Thalia was talking about was like that the one thing.
She looks at Thalia. Obviously, she'd been caught up in her own thoughts, and she's like, sure.
Do I need to roll P&E for that one?
No, you don't need to roll any for it. She's obviously looking at the both of you and like, you could have said that, did it irk you that there was a stone in your shoe, and she would have been like, sure.
Fair enough, fair enough. So how did you all fare in that fairly conservative, traditional sept? And it's about this time that the Maester machine goes off the main thoroughfare onto one of the side highways and streets. You're getting further and further away from the blazing lights of Manhattan and all those skyscrapers. They seem very, very imposing on the horizon, but they are certainly shrinking.
Before we, I think I need more booze to explain this.
And the front side panel goes ahead and is flipped up by one Lucas, and there is a Miranda of different alcohol for you to drink.
She will reach in, if there's a bottle of whiskey, she will look slightly longing at Lily, but hand it over to Cinna and grab a bottle of tequila for herself.
Yes, yes, it's almost as if this was planned.
Take a massive, here, Cinna, there's
Huh?
some more for
Oh.
you.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Opens up the cork. Takes a sip. That's actually good whiskey. She seems to, at that point, have her first honest reaction, as she honestly seems confused that Lucas has good whiskey.
It's almost as if he planned for this.
At which point Talia will take a slug of her own tequila. We didn't fare great, I'll be honest. I don't think we were prepared, really, or I certainly wasn't prepared for quite the depth and feeling of their reactions to certain things. Admittedly, perhaps some of our reactions were not the best in hindsight. Some of our words were hasty. I feel we had true feeling behind them and we were being honest. But it was not our home, and in hindsight, perhaps we spoke out of turn. But to see such actions towards this Metis and the level of violence they perpetrated on him was shocking to us. So we originally spoke out, and then we encountered two of the Guardians later, and they questioned us. They did not appreciate our answers and candor with them, and it was also a Fianna sept. They particularly somehow took offense to Maeve's words and Maeve's attitude, and one of them challenged her.
How did that get resolved?
Well, in this case, we can thank Cinna for the resolution. She, being Alpha in this, it was her rite of passage. She stepped forward. She asked to take Maeve's place, as Maeve had only put herself out because it was Cinna's. See, Cinna was the one who brought us there. There was a slight misunderstanding, but I think on Maeve's part, but it was agreed that Cinna could take Maeve's place. If she
So,
said submission. And Cinna accepted. There was a moot called for us being there because of the sheer importance and the sheer honor of having Cinna and Maeve be there with all their noble heritage breeding. And the challenge was resolved, and Cinna acquitted herself well. She beat their Fianna. I believe it was the Fianna.
Mm-hmm.
And she won, and Maeve was allowed back on the sept as long as Cinna was there.
well,
And I did not seem to have quite so much problem with them. I spent the evening and they and we enjoyed their they were far more hospitable at that point. But things remained strained.
well, they may have remained strained, but it looks like you got past the initial bad impression and got their hospitality. I think I'd call it a win.
For Cinna and myself, yes, it was. Cinna did manage to bring something out of that, and she did well in winning the challenge. And that was a success. Fiona still seemed terribly unhappy with Maeve.
Because of an initial offense? What was the offense?
They saw her as weak, and their attitude, that her attitude towards Metis was soft, and that she then questioned them, and they took offense at her. Admittedly, her language, as I say, was not the most wise when she questioned them. It was not perhaps her place to question them, and her language was slightly pithy, I suppose. She might use against sort of Katori or Kachina or someone here or Travis, but they know her and they know her personality and they respect her and have other respects for her. Here she did not have any reputation to stand on. She was just questioning those of higher station than her, and they took an intercept that was not our own. So they didn't see this as a cub questioning. They saw this far more harshly. And being such a, they also say, I don't understand all of the Fianna-ness. I don't. Somehow she was an affront to Fianna. They did not think she was doing. They somehow felt her reaction was more offensive than mine or Cinna's.
Interesting. I guess Eden starts to shrug. I guess that's pretty much the end of the story.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not a good storyteller.
No, what was the mission of the rite of passage to begin with? To just visit another, actually, no. Looks to Cinna. You completed the rite of passage, right? In the mission statement, right?
Sorry, come again?
He goes ahead and gives his attention over to you and says, "You completed your rite of passage. I heard the hell. So, first off, congratulations on being an adult. Second off, how do you feel now? Mystery solved?"
Mystery solved. Yeah.
Do you feel edified?
At this point, I don't know what weighs heavier on my mind. Wolf's home. Or this? No, this is not true. For fuck's sake, I know which weighs heavier.
Did you manage to speak to your parents, Cinna?
Yes. Did you hear it? You could hear it in Miss Whisper, Horaya's howl. And you could have heard it when I made my declaration to that fucking ass. And with that, she just pounds into the side of the mystery wagon with her fist.
Hey, hey! Don't be too harsh on Shaggy. Shaggy didn't do nothing to you.
Yes, I completed my rite of passage. Yes, I know who my birth parents are. Apart from that, I desperately need to talk to Miss Whisper, Raya, Monica, Raya, both of them. But not can't yet.
I meant,
Fuck her! She almost again tries to pound into the van, but stops, actually, her fist raised. Slapping Maeve, to be honest, was the littlest of his offenses.
It is
Asshole.
true.
What?
Story that Thalia hasn't told you yet. Instead, I found my parents, my adoptive parents. They were. At the moment, they're probably running somewhere in Ireland.
That was who I was asking. Did you manage to contact them?
I haven't contacted them yet. I don't know if it's safe at this point. I'll try later, but at the moment, I just have to trust Fiona to keep them safe. I think at least some of them are on our side. They gave me a letter, and she actually, from her bra, she pulls a folded up paper. It seems like it had been there for a couple of days, so it looks a little bit smudgy. And then she grabs her backpack and opens it up and just lets the two of them look inside. And there's this blue blanket embroidered with feathers. These two things. Turns out I wasn't found in an alley. I was handed over to them. And my father, my real father, well, it's difficult to say real, my biological father, used to visit us till I was 7. And he wrote that letter. He was about to get murdered.
Hmm. So I can see you're very agitated, very, very angry about all this.
You don't know half of it yet.
At least there's no mystery. At least you know now.
My mother.
Thalia will look at him in slight horror.
My mother is still running from the same people who've murdered my father.
Oh, you just. Oh, sorry, on OC note. I thought you said he didn't get murdered.
My father did. My
Okay, fair enough.
biological.
That rewinds, Lucas's previous statement. He just remains silent then.
Apparently she's still in the UK. I got a lead, but I don't know where to. Maybe later. My mother, as Miss Mariah mentioned in her howl, is apparently queen of the House of Ostrahal. A house that was wiped out. Or, well, they try to wipe it out. Because of a claimed worm taint on the house. My father was murdered. My Philodoxus, House Gleaming Eye.
You mean
Simply
like
for
that
carrying the
arsehole we
blood.
saw?
Simply for carrying the blood of our house. Yes, exactly that guy. Don't know if he was the one who did that. It might have very well been. They know. They know what I am. They'll probably. He mentioned that. Well, I got the impression that him and some. Which tribe was it again? I think the Get.
Forget, he was going to Uppsala.
Yeah. They will come here. Not only have I brought destruction upon that sept, upon my adoptive parents who will now have to flee and run for their lives, I've also endangered this sept. Everybody in it. Simply because that asshole was too fucking getting on my nerves.
Hmm.
I'm gonna
Cinna,
murder that
I was
guy.
there.
And
I
I'm
was there.
freaking hoping.
You could not have avoided answering him, and you have not put us at risk. They are the ones that are their bringing their filth, bringing their hatred here for no reason. We will, Cinna, what they have wrought upon you and your family. That's not okay. I know that's not good enough words, but I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure I speak for the others. She'll look briefly at Lucas at this point and say they will not take you. They will not bring their twisted vengeance, their twisted fight here. And if you so choose at some point to want vengeance, just ask.
Hmm. I would like to know more about this rivalry, this hatred, this civil dispute, conflict escalating on to assassination.
I wish I could
Can we
tell
have
you
some more
more.
alcohol first?
Alcohol would definitely be great. At this point in time, much of the city lights have just gone ahead and vanished. You're now on the a bit of a gravel trail, actually, until the mystery machine will actually go ahead and stop. Stop in a very, very well. It seems like a rest stop. It seems like a parking lot, but those are just names to what this place could possibly be. It's mostly just a bit of dirt, a bit of gravel in the middle of nowhere.
You want to hear more? I'm not quite sure if that's right. Not quite sure if that's the right thing to do right now. I'm sorry, Lucas.
Meh, I'll
The
take what I'm
problem
doing.
is, I always, I've always been someone who didn't believe in secrets, didn't believe in keeping things. Those information need to be spread around. Freaking journalist. Now I'm not so sure. I found that they will. I don't know what they will do. Don't know at this point even what I have to do. I know what I want to. I just not sure if it's the right thing. I hate to be not sure of what's the right thing to do. It's frustrating. It's killing me. But if you want to know the full story, talk to Miss Whisperer. She's probably better at explaining this than I am, especially right now. And she'll also have a better judgment of what is right to know and what isn't.
Okay. You see, Lucas goes ahead and hops out the van after cutting the engine. And the music, by the way, if you were paying attention, it was put to a soft drawer. Was progressive rock, lots and lots of guitar solos and people whining in the background, double echoes and all the other wonderful nonsense. But yes, Lucas goes ahead and hops his happy ass out.
Just before she follows him out the van, Thalia will turn to Cinna and be like, if you know me, I don't really do the deep, cuddly emotions thing, but if Wolfholm has taught me one thing, she will shudder slightly at that point. It's that you probably do know what you need to do. Your instincts will be there. You might not want to listen to them right now, but you will know. You've led me well, you've led us well before. I will follow you when you need me, but right now do what you need to do.
It's it's good to hear that you trust me this much. If England has taught us anything, that I'm most likely to lead someone down the path of destruction, to get my people
Pats
killed.
pats the
That's why
mystery machine. Don't worry, Shaggy. She didn't mean it.
just because you can be a bit hot-headed sometimes, Cinna, doesn't mean that you lead people to destruction. You led us well. You dealt with the things you created. And sure, I might not be the calmest head to be beside you, but I was always someone who struck out by myself, but if anything I've learnt, we need each other. And I'd be there for you if I can. If you truly decide you need to do this by yourself, it won't be happy. I'll try and let you do it, but I'd rather lend you my strength, your words.
If there is one person that I've grown close to lately, it's you, Thalia. You make a lot of things sound, or at least seem, so much easier. Whether they really are, or whether that's just how you make them sound, doesn't even matter to me. I am really honored that you feel this way, and I would very much like to have you at my side, despite the fact that there may be from time to time things that you cannot smash up or reason with in your style of logic. Maybe I'll need to calm my temper a little. I I would be honored to have you at my side, and you know this.
She will give you a slightly crooked smile, slightly self-depreciating, and be like, well, I'll offer you a toast with her bottle. Forward
So,
together then? Or maybe wobbling sideways?
yeah, definitely wobbling. She'll hold up the whiskey bottle and clank it towards Talia's. And there is actually, it's not a real smile. There is this sideway grin on her face. Like, I do appreciate it, just that right now it doesn't really feel like smiling.
Hey, she'll take what she can get and gesture out of the van. We should probably get out there before Lucas gets himself in too much trouble.
He always does that. But she'll help out.
You find yourself in the wilderness. You find yourself away from the city lights. You find yourself away from the city smells. You find yourself away from the city itself. Here you hear the soft, soft stuff and chirping of insects way, way out. Here you go ahead and smell the marshland. Here you go ahead and see just a very, very clear, clear darkness. The moon only gives you a little bit of illumination, a little bit full.
Cinna will look around, raise an eyebrow, take a gulp of whiskey again, and looks at Lucas. What's this?
What is this?
Yeah.
Well, this is this. This is the wilderness. This is, well, I believe it's Connecticut State Park, I believe. Yeah. And this goes ahead and points to his walking stick, is my stick. And that goes ahead and pointing towards a way into the wilderness, is the path.
Lucas.
Mhm.
How? No. Never mind.
No, say it.
No. No.
Say it.
What's with the fucking glasses and the stick? You
Mm,
know well enough who you're becoming a spitting image of.
okay. Getting another rage point. He walks closer to you.
She didn't want to say it, but go on.
You want me to get rid of it?
Nope.
Still looking at you. You sure?
It's whatever you want. It's your thing. I'm just pointing this out because it's unsettling.
Fine. He says he takes off the sunglasses, takes the stick, puts them back into the back of the mystery machine, looks back. You good? Better?
Lucas, any memory of that guy at this point is honestly not too big of a concern of mine.
Am I missing something here?
Mutual acquaintance that we lost track of.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask about it. You're better off not knowing.
For now.
See, I wasn't going to follow that up, but now you've said that, I want to, but I understand that's not what we're here for, so I'll put a pin in it for now. But she kind of shoots Lucas a look like, I'm going to follow this up later.
Fine. That is the look that you get.
So, before we strike out along your little path, Lucas, is there more alcohol or is this it? Please the way through this bottle of tequila.
Grab another bottle. It's in a cooler in the back.
She'll go and climb in the back and grab a selection of bottles and stuff them in whatever kind of bag she can find in the back of the mystery machine.
Mm-hmm. Lucas is going to go ahead and be at the foot of the path. Look to Cinna. What'd you learn?
Where?
In Wolf Home. What did you learn?
I don't think that that's really something that can be described so easily. What did you learn?
I didn't learn nothing.
You seem to be the one with all the questions. Surely you should answer some right now.
If you have them.
Well, that seems like a legitimate one. You are so interested in what we've learned. What do you feel you've learned? Otherwise, we wouldn't ask if you didn't think you'd learned something yourself or there was a lesson to learn.
Let us see. In that place, there was no safety. In that place, there was no home. That is a state of mind that I have been in more than once before. To be running, to be hunted, I have felt that for much, much longer. Hate and prejudice, they really don't have a single breed or a single race or a single even tribe or nationality. It's all feels the same.
And do you still... You're... So you don't feel anything different towards humans at all?
I feel more towards lupus. I feel more towards the wolfkin. In this world, we see humanity as it is. It is greedy. It is very, very hungry. It has always been, and I have always known this. And when they act without thought. And when they act without thought, they do horrendous things and atrocities. But when they do act with thought, when they do act with gentleness and kindness and just a tiny bit of fucking forethought about their goddamn mother, then they do wonderful things. No, no, no. I knew that going in. Now, oh, now I feel how the wolf feels about the apocalypse.
Really? And what is that?
The weight of the world, humanity, it's invasive. It can be encroaching. This is a continuing theme in its strides, and it never really goes ahead and goes the opposite direction. You don't see Gaia's sacred places being expanded. Now you see them being constricted and paved over. That's why they kept at us. Those hunters and those humans and those bulldozers, they kept at us in Wolfhome. Because that's how it feels. Because that's the reality of what it is to be a lupus or even a wolfkin.
I see what you're saying.
If anything, I can sympathize more with them now that I've gone through those trials and tribulations and just that horror.
We're not wrong. Do I think exactly the same as you? No, but we experience things differently. We are different.
Mm-hmm. What did you take away from it?
I learnt some things that I had been told, but I didn't truly appreciate till I was there. The rank and the rank and importance we give people, that I suppose is far more important than I had truly realized. That was perhaps the most mundane thing, but I think equally important that became solidified in my mind. Along with that, yes, humans are. I would go slightly further than you. We are not the same as them. We would not do what they do. They were relentless. You say they do, that if they are thinking they are good. If they are not thinking they are, it's when they're not thinking they are bad. I would argue that those
Then points at you for a quick second. No, 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 no. Not just thinking about the consequences of their actions towards the mother.
some of them are thinking. Some of them were hunting us with purpose. They knew the exact outcome of their actions. They didn't care. They wanted it.
Yeah.
And they still do. That does not mean that they don't think about the consequences of their actions. I understand what you say. Many of those, like the ones that would gawk at us at the zoo and would laugh and would poke, many of them are just ignorant. This does not forgive them for their ignorance. But, as you say, many are not actively involved trying to damage things, but they still do. But there are many that are actively, knowingly doing what they are doing, know the consequences. That is less difficult to forgive.
Lucas goes ahead and throws up three fingers. Humanity is a thinking being, so putting that aside for a second. One, in the most extreme case, a man walks into the woods with the express purpose of destroying something, anything, for his own reasons, his own edification, whether it be for his own greed or pride. Second, You have the human that does not know, does not care, and even turns a blind eye to these atrocities and benefits from them. Third, probably most rarest, those who know, those who are educated, and understand the harm that it brings to the mother. These are the fewest, and only a few of these have the courage to try to bring it back, to undo the damage. Make sense?
You you want are you trying to argue some kind of ethics right now? She had quite a bit of tequila.
Of
You want
course.
to argue the ethics of humanity and the relative morality of and whether good outweighs the bad or something. Do you think those few who are doing good, do you think that's really enough?
No, of course it's not enough. They'll need more. More support, more activism, more courage to actually strike out and make a change. It's a hope. It's a dream. But it's a
And
dream that's there.
that's all very well, but what are the majority or the larger percentages doing? What's stopping them whilst you encourage these few good souls?
Hopefully these few good souls can go ahead and change the behavior of the majority.
But in that time, how much has been lost?
Quite a
How
lot.
many things have they killed? How many things have they destroyed?
What would be your solution?
As I don't have a solution. I just
You see a
In the
problem.
end,
You see
in
the
the
issue
end,
before you, and that's
no
a good
one
first
has a
step.
solution. In the end, no one has a solution. This is very simple. If anyone had a solution, we wouldn't even be facing this problem. Many
Mm,
years ago, they thought it was a great idea to try and murder all of them. It didn't work. We, to some point, to some level, need humans. And however we may dislike this, they are still a part of creation. They are still a part of this world.
Still a child of Gaia.
There may be too many of them. No, not maybe. There are too many of them.
Overpopulation is the thing.
But they are needed, and they can be good. After we came back, and I could think this way again. The adoptive parents that I have, Lord and Lady Harris, ones that I have my name from, they were good people, ignorant about nature, ignorant about Gaia, definitely not kinfolk, but good people, and I love them. We can be instructors, and Thalia, you're right to be cynical. You're right to point out that while we teach maybe 10, in the meanwhile, 100 of them are destroying the world, if not 1,000. But teaching one step at a time, it's the only way that this might ever work.
Okay.
However, for me, I think the most important thing I've learned while being there, part of me always used to hope that I could go back to being human. realization in Wolf's home that I never was. That I never was the same as the people that I've called Mom and Dad for so many years. I've learned a lot. I've learned to trust my instincts more, to lead if necessary, and to fall back if necessary. I won't be me. I will always be me. That won't change. I will still make stupid choices, stupid decisions. I'm not, definitely not the best Silverfang around. But I've learned to trust more on who I am and what I am instead of faking it. I've learned that I'm fundamentally different than those that look so much like us when we're walking in our normal forms. And I've learned that that is okay. I don't need to go back, despite what I miss. It was never mine anyway, because I've always been a Garu.
That was a sticking point?
Yeah.
Eh. Well then, I thought we all did learn that lesson.
You speak so much sense. I don't quite understand how you manage to speak so much sense when you've had, is that now nearly 2 bottles of whiskey? But I will drink to what you say.
Just
I
give
I
me half
will.
an hour and I'll be puking all that sense behind that tree.
I'm sure Lucas will hold your hair for you.
Maybe.
But I will just feel I need to clarify. I'm not suggesting that we kill them all. I don't think I agree. Not all humans were bad. I was just merely saying that teaching the few is not a bad idea, but that I don't feel that can or should be our only focus. I feel just as important is watching and acting against those who are doing the act of destruction. Maybe acting against those who are just ignorant is much harder. As you say, I profess no solutions, but I feel we can, and I'm no judge, but I don't feel that teaching is a strong enough reaction. I don't feel that that can be the be all and end all of our strategy. I don't think that you say you might want to look at that in the long term. I don't profess any subtleties or any strength in that way. I'd leave that to you to explore. But I don't feel that can be our only thing. It showed me that there may be monsters that come against us, but humans are a monster of their own.
Of course.
All the monsters in the fucking closet.
Of course. Of course. Whatever solution we do come with, it'll be a multi-layer one that attacks all the different symptoms and all the different problems. It's not only the man who holds the gun, but the man who butchers the meat
Also,
who could be the problem.
surely it is not upon us three, two newly not cubs and one hopefully not a cub too much longer. Surely this is bigger than us. We can have our own little private theories and ideas, and we can put them forward as we wish, but it is not our place, or it is not on us to come up with some grand strategy for how to deal with this all. This has been going on much longer than we've been around, and will, I presume, go on much longer after we've ceased to exist. Is it not ridiculously beyond us and ridiculously, I mean, I
Then
like to think
upon
that we
who
can have
is it?
some impact, but is it not
Thalia,
beyond even our level of arrogance to assume we can?
who, if not us? We're all part of the fucking nation. Sure, so there are people of higher rank, people with more status, more wisdom, but in the end, they haven't been able to come up with anything either. If not us, then who?
Not
I
know
think
when.
all of us need to think on this. All of us need to think on ideas or solutions or whatever, and at some point, someone will have something. That might be you. That might be Lucas. That might be me. That might be Maeve. That might be Garrett. Doesn't matter. Maybe Olaf. At some point, someone will have an idea and it will work. And until that time, we'll make do with whatever the fuck we have.
Yeah, I I see your point. People tell me I should look at the bigger picture. Um, Personally, I'll deal with what's right in front of me right now. Hey, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's what I can deal with right now. And she takes another slug of the bottle of tequila. And right now, can deal with what tries to help us. And what will help us is drinking some more.
If you want to.
Unless you've got
Sounds
any
like
other
a plan.
solutions. We've just established that plans are not my thing.
Lucas is going to go ahead and try to find a fallen log and go ahead and sit on it across the path. Look, I didn't come out here to just go ahead and argue philosophy and all that other fucking nonsense. Just wanted to make sure that you guys had your head on straight.
Since when are you so concerned?
Forever.
Sheila, Cinna will kind of shake her head at that.
Look, going through that type of hell is a very, very stressful ordeal, and you are both my sisters in Gaia. So I was concerned. So I asked these questions, and I do apologize if it's got sidetracked in philosophy or ethics. I want to know if you guys are all right.
Talia will roll her eyes slightly. We'll cope. We always cope. There isn't really an alternative here, is there?
He goes ahead and nods his head and points to you. Coping. Good. Put that on my list.
Were you planning on doing something that wasn't coping?
Just want a litmus test. Just wanted to see where you were.
Litmus test?
Litmus test. You notice that Lucas probably goes into the scientific nerd mode for a few seconds. Litmus test. It is a test of the pH levels of water, pH being a determinant of the amount of hydrogen and oxygen balance within a particular liquid sample. It tests for acidity and baseness.
Cinna will let out a huge burp. That's how interested she was about that.
Yeah, Talia's eyes clearly glazed over, and the tequila is having more of an effect. So, Cinna,
Thalia.
I I know you haven't had a chance to like talk to the people that you need to talk to yet, but
I don't even know who to talk to at the moment. Miss Whisper, probably.
I yeah, I think she clearly knows things and knows about your silver fangy things.
My silver fangy things I can do without for a bit.
Yeah,
Which is why I haven't talked to her yet. You're right. At some point I'll have to.
unfortunately, as much as we like to avoid things, they will only eat you in time otherwise. Like a giant serpent, they slowly crawl up from your feet and work their way up your legs until they get to your head. And then you are all consumed.
Hmm.
Cinna raise her eyebrow at this.
Now I remember why I brought you two out here. Okay, I remember. Uh, hold on a second. Up above the, or up along the path, there seems to be a shed. Then Lucas goes ahead and walks on towards. You see the lock there. The pig comes out. The lock is unlocked now. Interesting that. The shed door goes ahead and opens, and out from it comes let's see, a hatchet and a sledgehammer, which Lucas just goes ahead and lays on his shoulders for a hot second, and he continues on the path.
What? Do I want to ask about the hammer and the axe? She's gonna reach inside the bag and fish out another bottle and offer the bag to Cinna in case she needs anything from the bag.
Cinna is actually only halfway through this bottle, so
She's good then. Talia will close the bag, sling it back over her shoulder, and kind of weave slightly after Lucan.
As you go ahead and weave after Lucas, apparently this path goes ahead and takes you a bit deeper into this forest. As eventually, you go ahead and you see before you a clearing. You do not see Lucas. Lucas apparently disappeared and whatnot. But he has apparently gone ahead and laid the hammer, the sledgehammer, and the axe by the entrance of this clearing. And in the middle of it seems to be a bit of equipment. Something that is yellow. Something that looks pretty damn menacing. Something that looks like a caterpillar, construction equipment, or deconstruction equipment.
Fuck you. Um. Um. How, how many successes do I need right now?
You need 4 to go ahead and frenzy. You are very, very angry right now, but you're not absolutely out of control.
Good. Good. Lucas, what the fuck?
You do not see him.
What the fuck? What? Cinna,
Thalia.
do you think this is Lucas's idea of some kind of joke? Lucas, get your
Found.
ass back here now.
I found that Lucas has much in common with an old friend of mine. It's his version of a joke, but there's always a meaning behind it.
Her fists are gonna clench and unclench. She's turning her back on it. Lucas, whatever your little lesson slash joke is, get here now.
Go ahead, me. Well, let's go ahead and engage the system for a hot second. Intimidation, charisma.
Link, why won't you get to my XP? Oh.
Oh. Because you bought dots in charisma and or intimidation, haven't got it yet approved.
Yeah, I bought a dot. I finally bought a dot of intimidation because I decided after Warpome, after trying to intimidate a bulldozer, she decided to. It was
What?
appropriate.
Go
She
ahead
gets
and use
one.
it. Go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Roll an extra dice.
there you go.
Two
Two.
successes. All right. You are 2 dots successfully intimidating. Rolling willpower. This would be hilarious. I could botch. I could definitely botch this. Rolling. There he is. He hears you.
He's not intimidated.
Not right now, he isn't.
If there is no reply, she is probably gonna literally say, "Fuck this shit." Then she's gonna throw what remain, like take a massive slug of the bottle, look as if she's gonna throw it on the ground, but she's not wasting that shit, and like go to walk away, like go to leave. She'll stop at the edge. Senna,
Thalia.
are you staying for this shit?
I'm interested to see where it goes. Doesn't matter. I'm drunk.
Fair enough. Okay, let's go ahead and make an action. From about a quarter, let's see. How do I want to express this? From a 45-degree angle of the path that she went ahead and followed up, you see, actually, Lucas. Lucas, he currently has the sledgehammer in his hand, a second sledgehammer, and he seems to have gone ahead and taken off his shirt. He's only wearing his jeans pants at the moment, and he approaches this fucking menacing machine, and he is angry. He is so fucking angry at this bullshit. Goes ahead and raises it up and brings it into one of the headlights. Fuck.
At the noise of the smashing thing, Talia will turn back around. What the fuck are you doing?
Again, the sledgehammer is raised, and this time it goes ahead and hits one of the panels, and there's a scream, "Fuck you!"
There's a again that kind of sideways smirk on Cinna's face. It still doesn't reach her eyes, but she's checking the sledgehammer, checking the axe. Which one looks heavier?
The sledgehammer looks heavier, but it seems like the axe got a sharp point to it.
And she'll go for the axe because she's not that strong, and she knows Thalia is, so yeah. She'll grab the eggs, look at it, study it. Yeah, why the fuck not? She'll swing the axe in the direction of one of the headlights. Just crashing into it with the sharp point.
Mm-hmm. It goes ahead and gives a very, very satisfying as on the other end, you hear Lucas go ahead and say, "Fuck you! Fuck you!" Again and again, over and over again.
At this point, it slowly filters into Talia's head what is going on. She's like, she then marches over and he's like, and she doesn't even say anything, she just grabs up the other hammer and climbs into like the cab and starts smashing the controls. Like swings it up as hard as she can and brings it right down on all the like dials and like starter bits and the little bits of like the sticks.
Oh yeah, the steering sticks, the miraculous little dials, all the little glass gauges, they will all be destroyed if you just keep wailing and hammering. And you hear Lucas from outside again screaming, "Fuck you, Enron Oil! Fuck you!"
Cinna will also, after that first swing with the axe, she'll swing again. She's staying low to the ground more. So she's mainly going for the tires or the whatever the fuck you call it. Those for the more softer spots that she can actually do some damage with this axe, and she's not saying anything, but the look on her face just becomes more and more grim. And at some point, she'll actually throw her head back, and because fuck you, that's why she'll howl.
Oh,
Yay, howling!
She's still in humming. It's like, eh. It's just a frustrated howl, actually. It's just frustration and pain and anger. It's just there. Kind of sounds like a human scream that is very frustrating and angry. But yeah, it's definitely a human who's howling.
And you are met by Lucas's own voice. And again, the screaming, "Fuck you! Fuck you!"
Talia finally gives voice as well, and she, yeah, will just. What? Do you like that? Do you like that?
Wonderful, wonderful. Glass breaks. The metal paneling goes ahead and gets dislodged, so you can see all the little tiny innards, all those hydraulic little controls. You go ahead and continue this swing. They get ripped up. There's a tiny, satisfying little psh as some of the hydraulics goes ahead and just gets utterly destroyed.
Use your digging claw now. You feel that perhaps Lucas might be raging against bigger things. Talia is very much just raging against the machine. It is the bulldozer that is the target.
For Thalia, the bulldozer is the target. For Lucas, it is something much, much bigger that he can't grasp at. But he found a suitable substitute that he continues to go ahead and wail on. Pretty soon, some of the yellow metal and plastic paneling just comes completely flying off. Pretty soon, the innards of this diesel engine are exposed, and again, they fall prey to Lucas's continuous smashing.
Yeah, Talia's moved on, and all the little cabs, any sort of that sort of plexiglass stuff that was in the windows of the cab have been like kicked out, and anything else that she'll jump out and join, like join Cinna at the tracks, and being like trying to smash the treads up because then it can't move.
You smash the treads up. Oh, this monster ain't going nowhere. You going ahead and hamstring that motherfucker. Lots of howling, lots of swinging, lots of exertion. And at the end of it, Lucas just goes ahead and stops for a hot second, drops his sledgehammer on the ground, steps a few paces back. He is glistening with fucking sweat and exertion, and just sort of falls backwards a few paces away from that dreadful monster.
Thalia will eventually step away, but when she's destroyed the nearest set of treads to her, and she knows the monster's never going to move again, you can see she's panting, and her eyes are perhaps slightly glazed. You get the feeling that she's perhaps not slightly lost from the immediate going on. As it sort of slowly filters back to her, she's going to turn away, and she's actually going to go to the bushes and start vomiting.
Cinna did not just roll a 1 and a 4 on her stamina roll. So she's at some point, probably before Thalia stops, she swings the axe, and it hits the machine. It's stuck there. She tries to yank it free, but instead just falls flat on her ass. And she's just sitting there, staring at this thing, and kind of leaning on her hands as she doesn't have the feeling she can get up right now. She's tired of all the hammering or axing and drunk, and she looks at that thing and she's just nodding. Just fuck you, that's why.
What's Thalia doing right now after he throws up?
After she throws up, she's gonna just try and... She had a jumper on, she's pulling her jumper off. She's kind of using that to wipe herself off a bit and tidy herself up, and she's literally gonna be look down at it, be like, realizing enough that it's not a good idea to put this back on, is just gonna kind of roughly try and tie it around her waist, and then turn back to the others, looking kind of a little bit dazed, and she'll head over to where Cinna is on the floor and offer her a hand to pull her up. Come on, Cinna. Don't think the floor's probably pretty cold.
I think the floor is perfect right now.
You can lay on the floor. It's cool. It's all cool.
Maybe we can lie on the floor somewhere else. Can we move away from here?
Ugh.
I think we have destroyed the... You can almost see like she wants to say another word, but she does say machine.
Lucas is the first one up. Lucas is the first one back towards the path. Lucas stops for a quick second.
Thalia reaches down and will literally at this point, Cinna doesn't really have much of a choice unless she's going to try and forcibly stay on the ground. Thalia will grab her arms and pull her up.
I'm coming, Thalia, but look, I say you could stay with me, but I already got 2 moms. Don't need a third.
I don't want to be your mother. Please, I just don't want to stay
Getting
here.
up. As Cinna's kind of scrambling to her feet, trying at least to do this on her own force and not with Thalia's hands all over her. Obviously need more experience in drunken fighting.
Talia's probably looking slightly more vulnerable. Like, once Cinna's up, she just kind of gives her space. She's looking probably slightly more vulnerable than Cinna's used to her seeing her.
Luckily for Thalia, Cinna's drunk, so
Awesome.
she'll glance at Thalia. Come on. She'll hobble after Lucas.
As Lucas goes ahead and walks on with the two. Coping?
Thalia won't even answer at this point. She will just shoot him a look and grab another bottle out of the bag and take a swig.
Cinna will look. Coping. What's that? Aren't we all?
I hated that thing.
It was a thing. It's still a thing.
I hated that thing.
In
I hated
general or specific?
I hated that thing and I wanted to kill it. I couldn't. So I got to again.
You won. You won.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Why did you bring us here?
Because I wanted to kill it with my sisters. And I knew that sometimes Garu get so much rage inside them that they need to destroy something. I've walked with Garu once before, and sometimes they just need an outlet.
Why us? I mean, it's not that we don't like you, but why not Maeve? Or
She's not here. Fuck.
she's not here?
She's still back there. You're here. You got out. You were my sisters. And I wanted to just do fucking something to get that fucking angst and anger out. And Maeve is not here.
Who else is not here? I thought
You notice Lucas is currently grabbing his head. You notice he's holding his hair in his hands.
Lucas, who else is not here? Who else didn't make it back? I thought I meant to check on everyone else. I was with Cinna, there was things. Who else is not here?
Shit. I don't really know. I wasn't paying all that good of attention, but I haven't seen Maeve, I haven't seen Chino, I haven't seen Olaf. If you have, please tell me they made it back.
I didn't know. I hadn't seen them. I thought they were leaving right after us.
And I thought you guys were all going to follow after me.
We were stuck in a cage. We couldn't do any more. We couldn't help anyone else. We were more. We had to leave. We thought they were leaving too. Or I thought they were leaving too.
Fuck. One arm is going to go ahead and reach out to. Let's see. I'll flip a coin. Apparently it's going for Thalia. One arm goes ahead and reaches out for Thalia. Very, very slow, very, very sluggish, very, very easily avoided if you want to. But there's definitely not an intention to strike.
She won't move.
I honestly don't know what happened after I left. I don't.
Look, staying here won't get us any answers. We only know bits and pieces, and it may just make things more confusing. That place was confusing and enough. We should go back and try and find them then. If they are the ones you say, we find answers. I don't think we will have the answers you want.
And, well, the hand that reached, or the arm that reached out to you, will go ahead and let you go. Okay. And you'll go ahead and walk his happy ass.
Lucas, just Maeve will get out. For all that we say, and we've said things before, she will get out. They will all get out.
You see the back of Lucas's head doesn't really respond. Continues on.
Maybe we should just go back.
What do you do?
She will take another slug of the alcohol and be like, look, there's no point us just waiting here, and I think we've avoided things as long as we can. We should go back and find answers. We're not getting anything here. It's not helping us. The coming here it wasn't bad. We needed it, but we need to go home now.
Currently, you're more talking to Cinna than you are Lucas, who has walked far off the path. back towards the mystery machine.
Yeah, she was following back towards the mystery machine.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Then you hear, or at least you see a nod from Lucas's head.
Cinna has been following silently. As the conversation went on, you can see that her gaze kind of becomes darker a little bit again, and the end of the conversation, it's like she's staring off in the distance again. And you might wonder if she actually heard what you were saying.
If there's nothing more interesting that people want to do, we can definitely have an outro here.
I'm all for outro, sweetheart.
I am too. I need to go to bed.
All right. We go ahead and end our scene as well. Definitely a lot of conversation has been had. Definitely some destruction has been had as well. And well, we find our people walking back towards the mystery machine, and pretty much back to all the hustle, back to all the bustle, back to the noises and the sounds, back to the overpopulation, back to the pollution, back to the heart of all this madness, back to the Sept of the Green, which is one wild place, a oasis in middle of madness. Weaver constructed abominations, worm emanations, and corruption, and pretty much the eye of the storm for every single battle that we will see from here on hence. Until next time, we bid you a good adieu.